A busy week continues on the 2023 World Indoor Tour Gold from World Athletics. Tucked in between two Saturday American stops is tonight's visit to Europe. We're in Torun in Poland for the ORLEN Copernicus Cup. And another packed house at Arena Torun, creating their usual cracking atmosphere. A very warm welcome to you wherever you are joining us from around the world. There's a flavour of what is going to be coming up over the course of the next couple of hours. We crack straight on shortly with the men's 1500 metres. A host, as ever, of Olympic and world medalists. A world record attempt as well, just after 18:35 local time in the women's 1 mile as well. And some amazing sprint action with lots of home favourites as well for the Polish crowd at Arena Torun to get behind. My name's Chris Temple, delighted to be joined again here in the commentary box on the World Indoor Tour Gold by the world medalist Jenny Meadows. And Jenny, a great mix of field, sprint and distance action for us over the next 2 hours.
Yeah, it is, and I think a lot of athletes have really appreciated having the World Indoor Tour. Obviously it goes gold, silver, bronze, and this is one of our 7 gold meets. This is why we're bringing you all the action. And as you said, Chris, it's a busy week. Lots of events happening all around the world. But I can't believe we're on to number 3 already of 7. Just a few more weeks of the indoor season left.
Yeah, and already, as we say, some great marks have been set around not just the World Indoor Tour Gold, but also some of those silver and bronze meetings as well. Loads for athletics fans to get their teeth into as we build up towards major championships indoors and out throughout the course of the next few months. The athletes, top right of your screen, just getting themselves ready and prepared for our first track event, the men's 1500 metres. And it's going to be a busy start. We've got 15 athletes in total. That's the first page of them. Some of those who've been in great form include the athlete listed, drawn at number 2 there, Mike Foppen of the Netherlands, who's already set himself a national record at a further distance this year already. George Mills as well, who won the first event of this World Indoor Tour Gold in Karlsruhe with a fantastic performance, looking to continue that run here in Poland this evening. The pacemaker on the outside will be Adam Kaczynski there in the white and black, wide on the left. And as you can see, the athletes drawn across 2 pools. So George Mills of Great Britain with a new lifetime best indoors of 3:35.8 there, set in Karlsruhe. Mikael Rosmus, Olympic finalist outdoors, 3:32 runner, home favourite. Alongside him will be Samuel Abate of Ethiopia, an Olympic and World Championship representative, over 1500 metres, only his second ever indoor race over this distance. On his inside, just out of the shot, Jesus Gomez, another of the major championship medalists, twice a European indoor bronze medalist, including in this arena in the Torun staging of this event back in 2021. Azadine Habs of France, a national champion indoors and out. You see Tom Elmer of Switzerland there. Filip Sasinek of the Czech Republic, national record holder. European under-23 champion from a couple of years ago. Ruben Verheyden of Belgium in the blue. Mike Foppen there with his trademark headband. And on the inside, another of the Polish athletes, Michał Groberski. Our first event, the men's 1500 metres. And we are underway, and they're asking Jenny for something around about the world leading mark of 3:35 at the moment, which was held by George Mills, but he got overtaken by Mohamed Katir a few days ago.
He did. Mohamed Katir ran about 4/10 faster than what George Mills did in Karlsruhe, 3:35.48. And you can see that the pack have now made their way. They've all now come together, which is nice. And the pacemaker, he has been given the task. You just see that he really sensibly there just looks over his shoulder. 27.98 seconds. So he just has a check. I've been told to do this pace, but is anyone following? You see he's just looking once again. And we're looking for a split over 400 metres of 57 seconds. And looking at the pacemaker, well, he seems a perfect man for the job. He's actually running 800 metres himself competitively this year, 1:51. And he's been asked to go through in 1:54, so seems absolutely perfect. And as we can see, Chris, I've said this a few times recently, look at that field, every single one of them strung out. That's an indication that this pace is really fast at the moment.
Yeah, we've got the proverbial runaway train at the moment. George Mills happy just to sit in 3rd position behind Azadine Habs of France. He's a 3:31 outdoor runner. He's in 2nd position behind the pacemaker. Then comes Zeliki of Ethiopia in the longer shorts, then the white and black of George Mills in the on-running colours, Jesus Gomez. And further back in the field, just looking back through, Mike Foppen is around 2/3 of the way back at the moment for the Netherlands. It's Rosmis just in behind those athletes behind Gomez. Those are your leading 6 at the moment with just under 4 laps to go.
Well, it is. Habs just tucking in there nicely, isn't he, behind the pacemaker. He's had 2 ventures so far indoors, 2 wins out of 2. He won in Stockholm, 3:38. He also ran in 800 metres at the weekend in Ghent, won at 46, and we saw the pace there, and it's bang on what the athletes have asked for. And you can just see now the pacemaker, he will start pulling towards the side. Has he got another 100 metres or so in his legs? If he has, these athletes will thank him.
So it's around about 2:13 with 3 laps to go as we see the pacemaker step aside now, and Azzedine Habs of France takes over. Jesus Gomez now just moving past a couple and up into 2nd position. On the inside, Zeliki of Ethiopia, Mills keeping close order, Rosmis blue with the pink shoes, then comes Tom Elmer of Switzerland, and then Sasinek, and those have got away from the rest.
They have, and it's still Habs at the moment, but George Mills, he just did a decisive move, didn't he then? He just moved outside Gomez. George Mills hasn't had to do too much so far. It's an ideal race. You don't want to lead. You don't want to have to contribute too much to the pace. And we were really impressed with George Mills in Karlsruhe. 3:35.88, a new personal best. What have these men got now? Habs working really, really hard as they hit the bell.
Well, both Habs and George Mills have set themselves new indoor personal bests in this fledgling year so far, and they are 1 and 2 at the moment. Azzedine Habs of France. Now Mills planning his attack. Along with them is Jesus Gomez, the 2-time European indoor medalist, who's going to have to dig deep, and Rosmis keeping the charge on in 4th position. But it's still Habs from Mills as they straighten up. The world leads at 3:35.48. Mills trying to gather a challenge, but Habs, who's led pretty much as soon as the pacemaker dropped out, takes the victory. 3:35.62, holding off Mills on this occasion, just outside the world leading mark. But Habs knew those challenges were going to be coming, and he fought them all off.
He did indeed, and that was a very, very competent performance there from Habs. He thoroughly deserved that win. He showed his desire right from the beginning, following the pacemaker. And once the pacemaker dropped out, well, he never got overhauled, did he? Found so much strength that last 100 metres when George Mills put him under some real pressure.
Consistent running then from Azzedine Habs, 3:35.59. That is a big new indoor personal best, by the way, for him. That's taken a couple of seconds off the mark that he set earlier on a couple of weeks ago in Stockholm. George Mills, well, he's put 2 3:35 runs together, Jenny, in the space of a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think he'll be really pleased with that as well. I know when he won the race in Karlsruhe, he was fresh off the plane from South Africa. Sometimes you feel really good coming off that flight, but 10 days later, it's tough to get those legs moving again. But look at this. This is indoor running, isn't it? And this is when everyone's vying for that position early on. Lots of jostling. Oh, I think I just saw someone go down. Yeah.
I actually didn't see that happen at the time. He disappeared off the inside. So we're wondering what happened to Foppen. Well, that's where he went, unfortunately for him. But the overhead shot here, this is where you thought, OK, George Mills in good form now. But Habs always had that meter, didn't he?
He did, and it was a pretty important meter, wasn't it, all the way to the end. I'm already looking forward to that European Indoor Championships. All 4 of these men in the first 4 positions, of course, they'll be vying for spots on their national teams to go to that European Indoors, and I can imagine 1 or 2 of them will definitely be hoping to get on the podium as well.
Yep, and some fine handiwork in the crowd there, almost the reverse catch of the victory flowers. Tossed aside by Azzedine Habs, the 29-year-old Frenchman, with a big personal best there. Also a personal best down the field for one of George Mills' training partners, Tom Elmer of Switzerland, 3:39.17. But 3 athletes who've been in good form already this year, taking the top 3 positions, and a shame for Mike Foppen, off the back of that national record in America over 5,000 metres, that he was the victim of a bit of bumping and barging when it got a bit tight. Exciting start then to the World Indoor Tour Gold, the Copernicus Cup at Arena Torun, as we mentioned, was the staging of the last European Indoor Championships. High jump going on as well at the same time. That was Mateusz Kolejecki of Poland, the World Under-20 bronze medalist from the last staging. That And as you can see in the scoreboard in the background there, 2 meters 24 attempt for him, which would be a new indoor personal best. Failure on that occasion, his first time failure. We do have Hamish Kerr, the Commonwealth Games champion, world indoor bronze medalist in the field, along with Brandon Stark of Australia. And this gentleman, Matthias Prisbildko of Germany. Both of those with a major medal on his CV, European champion from 2018. Looking for the support. World indoor bronze medalist as well from Birmingham 2018. 224 for Prisbildko. Seemed to take off a long way from the bed on that occasion. We'll come back for a couple more.
Well, Chris, you talked about one of those athletes having medals to his name. You know, you look at most of these names throughout the whole of the field, all of them national champions, European medalists, European age group medalists, Commonwealth Games medalists, world indoor medalists. It's a real quality field.
There's another one of those medalists, Tobias Potjer of Germany, the European silver medalist from the outdoor championships in Munich, was second to Gianmarco Tamberi last summer outdoors. And glides over, does Potjer, 2 meters and 24. First athlete to go clear at that height. Full list, meanwhile, of another of our field events that's just about to get underway, the men's pole vault. And again, we talk about quality fields. There's still another man to see at the bottom of that. There we go, as the start list scrolls on to Ernest Obiena, who's already had a crack at an Asian record indoors this year. 11-man field, most of whom have already been in action this year already. We're going to meet them through the gate, one by one, into the arena. And we know the heritage that Polish pole vaulting has. This man's been a big part of it. Paweł Wojciechowski, 33 years of age now, world champion from way back in 2011. I say way back, Jenny, sorry, that's when you were still competing.
It feels way back,
Just about
Chris.
remember that far back. Here's another of the gold medalists of a previous championship, Robert Sabera, the 2016 European champion. He's 32 now. Rutger Koppeler of the Netherlands. Been in so-so form this year. A 560 performance in Germany a couple of weeks ago. Menno Vloon of the Netherlands, one of those tantalisingly close to the 6-metre mark in his career. 596 vaulter. Two-time Olympic medalist, bronze in Tokyo last time out, the champion of 2016, Tiago Braz of Brazil. He's had a couple of European meets on his trip over here already. Claudio Stecchi of Italy, 580 jumper indoors from a couple of years ago. And now I'm sure there'll be a big roar for Piotr Lisek, and he is a member of the 6-metre club. There's his trademark handstand, acrobatics. And he will be looking to turn in a third winning performance in this. He's won this twice before, has Piotr Lisek. Ben Bruners, national record holder of Belgium, 5 meters 85 outdoors. Next to go is the European, or next to meet, I should say, is the European bronze medalist from last summer, Per Hagen Lillefoss of Norway, who's just shy of his personal best at the Mondo Classic recently in Uppsala in Sweden. Emmanuel Karalis had a mixed bag so far, a couple of competitions. He was excellent in Karlsruhe, where he set that personal best of 583. Not quite so good in Lutz a couple of days ago when he jumped 551. And finally, Ernest John Obiena, the world bronze medalist, the Asian record holder. And again, is coming here in great form. He's already had a very busy few weeks already. This is his 6th competition of 2023, and we're only just into February.
Well, I feel the men's pole vault is just one of those events at the moment. There's so many in world athletics at the moment, but the men's pole vault is just really on fire. You've got someone like Mondo Duplantis, and Chris, you said the Mondo Classic, it's his home meeting, which is absolutely brilliant. If anyone tuned into that, it was absolutely fantastic to see. And of course, there's no Americans in this field. So many top-class vaulters at the moment.
Norbert Kubielski of Poland in the high jump, I should say, and he goes clear. 2 meters 24. Second attempt clearance for Norbert Kubielski. Only one athlete had previously gone clear at that height. That's the one we saw live. That was Tobias Potjer of Germany. Hamish Kerr, Commonwealth champion, has passed at this height of 2 meters 24. Just two jumps, I should say. Bit of a high jump and pole vault mixed up already here. Great to have live field events coming side by side, but just two jumps so far for Kurt, both clearances. We have lost Brandon Stark actually from the competition. 3 failures at 2 meters 21.
Well, that's surprising. Such an accomplished jumper, but great that Hamish Kerr is here. Just 1 centimetre shy of his national record already indoors.
Here goes Mateusz Koliziecki once again, the World Under-20 bronze medalist, and was close there. Unfortunately for him, that's the third and final attempt at 2 meters 24, so he's in 5th position overall with his clearance at 2 meters 21. And we say close, that would have been a new outright personal best, indoors or out. And that was extremely close, just clips it with the back of his heel, maybe the lower part of his calf. And he knew it was close, but he's only 20. That will be a name to keep an eye on, Mateusz Koliziecki of Poland. So we're back to third attempts, and here's Mateusz Przybyłko, 2 meters 24, currently in 4th position in this field to stay in the competition before the bar moves up to 227. No, nowhere close that time. His last couple weren't near, so Przybyłko, the European champion from 2018, departs with his best mark of 2:21.
Well, this event isn't one that's caught fire so far this year indoors. I'm saying that. Lashenko of Russia has cleared 2:38, but other than that, Hamish Kerr from New Zealand, who, like we said, is in this competition, he's gone over 2 meters 30, and 2:27 is propping up the third best so far in the world.
Yeah, it's a big gap, isn't it? It's a big gap at the top of those standings between that mark of Lysenko and the rest. Busy amount of track action coming up as well. All of the sprint action, by the way, the hurdles for men and for women, and the 60 metres women's flat as well. Those athletes have already been through heats, qualifying for finals a little bit later on. No real surprises, all of the big names you'd expect, perhaps maybe without Damian Chikia of Poland, the one name across all of those sprint events that I know the local favourites will be disappointed, hasn't made the final later. Of course, memorable times last year indoors when he tied the national record, didn't he?
That is my overwhelming memory of this event last year. He was literally in tears, wasn't he? Looking back at his family, it was a long-standing Polish national record. Didn't happen for him indoors at the World Championships, but of course he did amazing in Oregon at the World Championships, placing 4th. But yeah, he'll be disappointed not to have brought it here together on his home crowd like he did last year.
All of those sprint finals to come a little bit later on. You can also see in the centre of your picture there, the men's long jumpers warming up as well. Great battle ensuing in that one later on. We've got Tentoglu against Montler, against others. That coming up in the not too distant future. But again, Polish athletics, they love their indoors, no doubt about that, as we come back to the track for a couple of laps with the women's 400 metres. Just 4 of the lanes being used for this women's 400 metres, and here's an athlete in personal best form already, as you can see there from the caption. 51 seconds dead, her best performance indoors, Lieke Klaver of the Netherlands. Successful part in recent years of Dutch relay teams as well, but now really looking to push on individually. Lada Vondrova, former European Under-23 champion over 400 metres, also in PB form this year. Victoria Kachuk of Ukraine has also set a PB this year. All 3 of the athletes we've seen set their personal best on the same day in Ostrava. And finally, for the home nation, Kinga Gatska, who ran the 3rd leg in Poland's World Indoor Relay medal-winning team. So 4 athletes here, as we say, 3 of whom have already set PBs indoors in the last week. Klaver on the outside, Vondrova, Kachuk and Gatchka. Women's 400 metres in Torun. Although 3 of the 4 set their PBs on the same meeting, they're actually split across an A and a B race on that occasion. Kaczuk almost in the Netherlands colours, in fact, in the inside lane in lane 2, having to come out strongly, but Klaver, who we know used to really like to attack it, just looks like she's a little bit more measured maybe this year, but Klaver will come across and lead at the bell as they go through in 24.1, and now Klaver has opened up 2 or 3 metres on Kaczuk in second, then Vondrova and Gachka. Now the move coming down the back from Lada Vondrova. Half a second to find on personal best form from the meeting in Ostrava earlier on in the week. Klaver looking to hang on as Vondrova chips away at that lead, but Klaver looking really good here in the home straight, moving away. Can she improve that individual mark even further? It's going to be close, just outside on this occasion, 51 seconds, but that's really consistent sprinting, an excellently managed race from Lieke Klaver, and a little nod and almost a hint of a smile. 51.14, she's your winner.
Well, you're doing very, very well if you can smile so soon after crossing the line in a 400 metres. And Chris, you said she's managed that race very well, and I think that's definitely what we've seen over the last couple of years from Lieke Klaver. She was a 200-metre athlete, but she's really, really progressed in this event now. Looking through some of her statistics, she was, I want to say, only 5th at the last European Indoor Championships. And if you look at that, you think, who's going to beat her this year? Well, you would only think it was going to be her teammate, Femke Bol, if both decide to do that European Indoor Championships.
It was always one of those, wasn't it? It was Klaver's tactics were always get out extremely hard and then try and hang on. But now it looks like it didn't look like she attacked it quite as hard as we've seen her do in the past, and she reaped the benefits of that towards the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think you can go hard every single 400-metre event that you do, but she is really, really strong. I've seen this woman train. She's really, really impressed me. There's no shortcuts when you're running 400 metres, and she really is mastering the event now. And she was 4th in the World Outdoor Championships in just outside 50 seconds. This is a woman who I think will go 49.5 during the outdoor season.
And I imagine fantastic for her to have someone like Femke Bol, albeit not always in her event, but just that little bit ahead of you, just to keep pushing you. Same relay team, same training setup, of course, and that looks to be proving benefit, not just for Klaver, but for some of the other Dutch athletes as well.
Yeah, and I think once you see someone, you know, from your country, someone who you can kind of think, oh, you know, they've been through the same sort of journey as me, you can definitely just keep pushing each other forwards. But yeah, great race. I've got to say, Lada Vondrova from the Czech Republic, she was incredibly strong as well, wasn't she, down that back straight? I thought she was going to close on Klaver, but Klaver was just so strong all the way to the end there.
There is your lineup for the men's long jump, and what a lineup this is as well. And we always talk about how good it is to have the top athletes competing not only regularly, but competing against each other regularly as well. And we have exactly that here today. First of all, we meet Adrian Brzezinski of Poland. Set his personal best in this arena last year. Gabriel Zilakowski of Poland, just 18 years of age, in personal best form this year as well. Marquis Dendy loves the bucket hat. Very active and animated and interesting to watch on social media as well. The world indoor champion from a couple of stagings ago. Michael Masso, the Olympic bronze medalist for Cuba, making his season debut. Eusebio Caceres of Spain, the 4th placer from the Olympic final in Tokyo. And then the 2 big ones, if you like. First of all, the Olympic champion, the European champion outdoors, the world indoor champion, Miltiades Tentoglou of Greece. And great to have him alongside one of his closest rivals, Tobias Montler of Sweden, who finished 2nd behind him at the World Indoors in Belgrade last year. Montler's first meeting outside Sweden this year. He's had a few goes in his home nation, and now the Tentoglou-Montler rivalry is resumed, with Dendy thrown in as well. We've got the top 3 from the World Indoors in Belgrade.
We have, and we've got the world ranked 1, 2, 3, 5 and 8.
Here we are in the pole vault meanwhile, early stages, 5 metres and 52 for Robert Sabira. We'll need another go. High jump, Norbert Kubilski. Oh, that was, goodness me, very close for Kubilski. That is a second attempt at 2 meters 27 for Kubelski. Oh, that was as close as his colleague earlier on when we saw Koliziecki just knock it off. In fact, that was a third attempt, apologies, third attempt for Kubelski. My computer just catching up on the high jump. So Kubelski's competition is also over. Third position, 2:27.
Well, I think indoor athletics, it's just a great advert for the sport, isn't there? You don't know where to put your eyes next. 3 field events going on, running side by side. As soon as one is finished, you can cast your eyes on another one. And from one women's 400 metres event to the men's, here we've got the 6 competitors coming up.
And on the outside is a man who has 10 points already in the World Indoor Tour Gold standings, Benjamin Lobo Vedel of Denmark. He won in Karlsruhe. 4 of these 6 athletes, in fact, were in Karlsruhe. This one wasn't. Carl Bengtström, a couple of competitions, the World Indoor bronze medalist from Belgrade. Alex Haydock-Wilson of Great Britain. He's had a bit of a dash around so far. He's done Karlsruhe and he's done Boston at the weekend. Now back in Europe, in Poland, for the European bronze medalist. The vast experience, the Spanish indoor record holder, Oscar Hosios. Finished second behind Benjamin Vedel in Karlsruhe in the first meeting. Kajdan Jasinski of Poland, whose personal best of 46.71 came in this arena. That was last spring. And on the inside, the World Olympic Relay silver medalist, Olympic finalist Marvin Bonavacia of Netherlands. Also a couple of runs under his belt so far, 46.92, his best performance of the season so far. So unlike in the women's race, all 6 lanes in action here for the men's 400 metres. Rivalries renewed, the World Indoor Tour Gold. So away we go with the lanes filled, pretty even through the first bend. Bengtström just chipping away at Vedel on his outside, and Haydock-Wilson in lane 4, also stretching away from Hosios on his inside as well. Bengtström working hard to try and get across ahead of Vedel, and he might just do so. Bengtström's going to get to the curb. Vedel, the taller, rangier athlete, but fine work from Bengtström from lane 5 to get himself to the front. From Vedel, Haydock-Wilson, then comes Hosios. These 4 know each other well already from these opening weeks of the indoor season. Bengtström, the World Indoor bronze medalist then, with the lead. Can Vedel get past him? Hosios trying to charge from the back. Haydock-Wilson coming as well, but Bengtström will get there. Bengtström wins it in the air, moving away by 2 or 3 metres from Vedel. And on the inside, Jasinski finished fast as well, 46.18. And Bengtström showing the benefits there of going out hard, getting to the break and dominating.
Well, we always talk about how different the 400 metres is indoors compared to outdoors. Marvin Bonavacia, a good example of that, coming through strong at the end. I think he snatched 4th position. That was very, very difficult from lane 1. But Bengtström did so well to make sure he was ahead at the break. Vedel actually was ahead in Karlsruhe at the break and he hung on. So it's quite a different tale when you're coming from behind. You've got to actually see, you know, when am I going to overtake? When am I going to make my moment? But here we are at the halfway mark. And you can see Vedel, he just has to ease off the pace there.
Another athlete I was keeping an eye on in the home straight, in the one from the back at the moment, is the Polish athlete Jasinski, who seemed to charge through on the inside as others started to tie up as well, battling with Bonavacia, who got closer than he might have done from lane 1 as well. But Bengtström, well, again, look at the winning margin and 400 metres indoors there. He's getting further away from Vedel. Vedel's not getting closer to him.
And he ran so well in Belgrade last year at the World Indoor Championships. For me, he was a surprise bronze medalist, but watching that performance there again, he's going to be a real danger at the European indoors. He'll fancy his chances.
Season's best performance from Carl Bengtström, 46.15, and that fast finish from Dushinsky rewards him with a personal best as well by 100th of a second, beating that mark. And Hosios in the end trailing in the last of the 6. So we stand by in the pole vault to see Thiago Bratz, the Olympic bronze medalist. As we mentioned, has been on a little bit of a European tour so far, including that Mondo Classic meeting in Uppsala, which was a great meeting, looked fantastic as well. A pole vault specific meeting where, of course, Mondo Duplantis himself set the world lead of 6 meters 10, which is only just 19 centimeters higher than anybody else has managed so far.
Such is his dominance. But back to Bratz, he's struggled a little bit with his early season form, hasn't he? You mentioned, Chris, he was in Karlsruhe, he placed 7th there. And in Uppsala, he was 9th, but let's see how he goes today. Well, not to be on his first attempt at his opening height.
I'm going to write that down as a tentative start. I think he didn't really seem to attack that on the runway. As we see Hamish Kerr, the Commonwealth Games gold medalist in the high jump. Clean card so far, 2:27. His best clearance. 2 meters 30 there, just knocking it off, unfortunately, which would equal his performance from earlier on in the week when he took part in the meeting in Hustopech in Czech Republic. Cleared 2 meters 30 that time around. His PB outdoors is 2:31. In fact, his PB overall is 2:31, so he's very close to his best here.
Yeah, he is, and he's come straight from that outdoor season in New Zealand, straight to the European indoor season. Well, I'm certainly hoping that he can get over this bar and maybe attack the next bar of 2:33. That would be an outdoor personal best for him. Outright personal best, should I say. You've just said, haven't you, Chris? 31 indoors and outdoors, but getting ahead of myself, let's see.
2 athletes still in the frame, by the way, at 2 meters 30. Tobias Potje of Germany is the other one, still in the competition. Everybody else, unfortunately, in the men's high jump has been eliminated, as we see those athletes again fanning right across the track. You're right about Bonavacia. Jenny came strongly, but left himself far too much to do. Very tight in the end for that 3rd spot.
And you could see, actually, Oscar Julius as well. You know, he came in 6th position, but he just couldn't find room in that home straight. He was trying to fight for 3rd position with Alex Haydock-Wilson, but just ran in the back of him. And as Bonavacia and the other Polish athlete just came past him. So, so tactical, these indoor 400 metres. And lots decided on lane draw to start with.
Yeah, and there's only a couple of lanes you'd probably say are the favoured ones in the 400 metres, aren't they? And most people, first one to get the draw usually goes for lane 5, sometimes lane 6. They have their individual preferences. As we see the first page of athletes, in fact, that's the full page of athletes for the women's 1 mile. And here, there is an eye on the fastest performance that we've ever seen. We'll meet the athletes, then we'll get Jenny's take on how feasible it is here that one of the last athletes we'll meet in a second can take down the women's mile world record, which has stood for 7 years. Aleksandra Ploszyńska of Poland is the first that we meet. Plenty of local interest as well. Weronika Lizakowska. Then Marissa Damink, the national indoor champion of the Netherlands from last year. Adele Tracy of Jamaica, another one who was over in Boston, made a 3,000 metre indoor debut, quickly back to Europe, taking on the mile. Elisa Mega of Poland, their national indoor champion over 3,000 metres. Kristina Marki of Czech Republic, 7 times a national champion across a variety of distances. And now we meet the world champion over 5,000 metres, the world indoor record holder over 1,500 metres, Gudav Sigay of Ethiopia. She's the one who's going to be taking on the world record. And Soren Berhe of Ethiopia is the designated pacemaker. Jenny, the record in this event held by Gonzebe Dibaba from back in 2016 at just outside 4:13.
Oh, it's an unbelievable record, isn't it? But let's not forget, Sigay does have an unbelievable record of her own with that 1,500 metres indoor record.
Just see this effort from Potje in the high jump, who joins Hamish Kerr in a failure at 2 meters 30. He will have one more go.
1 mila, czyli 1604 metry. Tyle dokładnie do pokonania. mile.
So we're going to have plenty of time once we've got these athletes underway. We're going to have about 4 minutes and a bit to talk through the pacing on this.
Hopefully 4 minutes 12.
About 4 minutes 12. I'm just getting a word in my ear from Genzebe Dibaba, who hopes it's a 4:14 actually. But Sige, well, we'll also talk through what happened to her when she tried this last time on the World Indoor Tour Gold. Some of these athletes, fantastic experience for some of the younger Polish distance athletes here to be in the same arena, on the same track, and part of a world record attempt. But Sige, who out in Oregon ran 3:54 over 1,500 metres for world silver, just 5 days before she went on then to win the 5,000 metres. What's she got to do here, Jenny, pace-wise, to attack this Dibaba mark?
Well, first of all, I've got to say, I'm really pleased that it's a small field, because sometimes you have a large field and it could just go the wrong way from the beginning. But we can see there's 2 races here. Quite daunting for a lot of the other women to know they're potentially taking part in a world 1 mile record. But yeah, we're hoping for pace around about 63 seconds. Well, we've been doing the calculations, haven't we, Chris? We were actually told 61 seconds through 400 metres, and we both kind of questioned it. We're like, that's too quick. But 63 seconds, if you run consecutive 63-second 400 metre splits, would bring you right home on that world record figure. And of course, Sige does have the world indoor record. She set that actually in Lievan a couple of years ago now, wasn't it? A 3:53. So you'd think that she could do it on her day, but you alluded to already, Chris, didn't you, what happened last year?
Yeah, she fell, which was a shame. It was all set up, unfortunately, in Lievan last year in France, which is where we'll be this time next week on the World Indoor Tour Gold, and an early fall set that back, although she did go on to run 4:21 even after a fall, which is significantly impressive. But it was the same kind of thing as this, the way it was set up, that it would be a solo run against the clock with the pacemaker Saren Berhe. It's no mean task for her as well to be out front having to pace somebody of the quality of Sige.
Absolutely. So the world lead so far, well, we saw it in Boston just at the weekend, didn't we? Heather McLean of the USA for 23.42 seconds. And we'll be able to have a look shortly what they go through 800 metres in. So this will give us our first clear indication.
So we're looking at somewhere around about the sort of 2:06 mark, roughly, if they're going to do this even pace as the pacemaker steps aside. And Sige, early on, is going to have to do this herself. And she's going to have to do it in a negative if she's going to do it, Jenny.
Yeah, well, you saw the line there. It wasn't where the finish clock is because, of course, 1 mile is 1,609 metres.
Yep.
So it wasn't where you were expect, but it was just, what, a second or so outside that sort of pace. And interestingly, Sige, she's looked at the outside there, didn't she? I don't know if she was looking at anyone specifically, but her face doesn't look as relaxed as you would think it might do.
Not at this stage. Well, she finished behind Faith Kipyegon, of course, in the 1,500 metres in Eugene, still searching for a major outdoor gold over the shorter distances, if you like. The 1,500 metres has been one that's eluded her so far with the competition. That World 5,000 metres title, the Olympic bronze medal over that 5,000 metres as well. But it's a solo run against the clock here as she chases that Dibaba mark.
Well, you're talking about that Dibaba mark. That is some 3.5 seconds faster than anyone else in the world has ever gone. So, you know, no discredit to Sige if she doesn't manage to do that on this occasion. This will undoubtedly be one of the fastest times in history.
Well, it's a massive test for her at this stage as we hit 2 laps to go in 3:11. So she has 62 seconds to do this.
Yeah, she's a couple of seconds behind that mark at the moment, and we'll try and get an indication what she goes through 1,500 metres in. I was looking, Dibaba went through in 3:56.46, so I don't know that we'll be able to see that with the naked eye, and I don't know whether we'll actually get an indication, but here we go.
Well, somewhere around about 3:41 at the bell would give her a chance, but it looks like it might just be slipping off that here for Gudaf Sige. She goes out towards the final 200 metres, chasing down this mark of Genzebe Dibaba, which has stood since 2016. 4:13.31 is where it stands. No one's run within 3 seconds of that. It's been a solo run for her as she grits her teeth, swinging round into the home straight. She's had to do it all herself. Her CV is glittering with medals. She's the world indoor record holder at 1,500 metres. She's not going to add the mile, unfortunately, to that on this occasion, but it is still a stunning run from Gudaf Sigay. 4:16.19 puts her number 2 on the all-time world list behind Genzebe Dibaba. Nudges Ellie Purier-St-Pierre down to number 3. What a run.
Well, what a run indeed. And it was a tall order. Every world record is obviously astonishing, but I actually think that's one of the toughest, you know, having to already go through 1,500 metres in 3:55, 3:56, which is an absolutely incredible time over 1,500 metres. And then to obviously have to get that extra 109 metres. But absolutely incredible win, but not a smile on her face, Chris.
No, I suppose your standards are when you come and you sit out and you have everything set up to attack a world record, even if you run the second fastest time in history. And I'm sure Ellie Purier-St-Pierre, who's watching on, of course, on maternity leave at the moment. I think I saw her baby shower on social media a couple of days ago. She's just lost second place in the world all-time list. But what a run from Gudaf Sigay, the world 5,000 metre champion. The world indoor record holder over 1,500 metres has to settle in inverted commas for only being the second fastest ever behind Dibaba. Hamish Kerr in the high jump, meanwhile. Third attempt at 2 metres 30 here. At the moment, he's won the competition on countback if he doesn't get this, which he doesn't. So Hamish Kerr just 1 centimetre short of his outright personal best with that height attempt. Doesn't look overly thrilled with the victory, but he does take the win in Torun. Look at his performances so far, a 2:21, a 2:22 outdoors in New Zealand, then that one performance in Europe indoors in Huitstepet in Czech Republic of 2 metres 30. So today's clearance 2 metres 27 for Hamish Kerr. He does crack a smile eventually, he's not too disappointed.
Well, he's putting the wins together, isn't he, which is the main thing.
That's the sights if you're just joining us here at Arena Torun as we confirm the men's high jump result. That personal best for the German athlete Tobias Potje indoors of 2 metres and 27. Disappointing day for Brandon Stark, who only cleared 2:50. More track action on the way very shortly indeed after that women's mile attempt. We're back with our women's distance runners shortly. Over 3,000 metres. They'll be out to join us very shortly. Sigay's still got the world leading banner. She looks about as enthused to be holding it as she did it 5 minutes ago when we saw it. As we see Emmanuel Carolis in the pole vault.
It's all these high standards that athletes set themselves. It's really important to enjoy the moment. I'm sure she will eventually, but I think when you're trying to get a world record, it is tough, isn't it, to go that distance on your own. I thought the pacemaker did a really good job, but she only got help for 800 metres, didn't she?
I did see a smile there when she had to high-five the toast as well. The local mascot, as we see confirmation there. Personal best for Alexandra Plasinska in 5th position. But that time from Sigay puts her number 2 on the all-time list.
I think it's a kind of bread, isn't it? Or is it a cake or a sweet?
It's bread-based.
Yeah. Is it pianiki or?
Oh, yeah.
Or if anyone's from Poland and I'm saying this,
now.
yeah. I remember Adam Kashot telling me it's a local delicacy of the area. So that's about as much knowledge as I've got. But I'm not sure whether it's a piece of toast, but we'll go with it.
Most seats sold, all seats sold for this event. As we said, which staged the European Indoor Championships in 2021. Also, a leading contender or a contender to host the World Indoors in 2026 as well. Torun, of course, they'll be staged in Glasgow in Scotland in the UK in 2024. And the winners of our World Indoor Tour events, the individual winners of each event, they qualify as a wild card for those 2024 World Champs in Glasgow indoors. All the details on the World Athletics website for the standings. As we see Brzezinski, Robert Sabera, 5:56. Run through. Was put off there by the scoreboard behind him, having a different name on it. Robert Sabera, 5:52, then one more to come. Just 2 athletes have gone clear at this height so far. Claudio Stecchi of Italy and Per Haugen Løfoss of Norway, as we see Rutger Koppelaar of the Netherlands standing by for his second attempt. Mixed bag so far for him. A 5:60 competition in Cottbus in Germany, followed by a 5:36 in Lodz across Poland. 5:81 jumper outdoors last summer. Here he goes, Coppola, second attempt. 5:52. Much better, a little bit of a settler, I guess, at these kind of heights for some of these athletes.
Yeah, and on that form, he looks like he can go way in advance of that sort of mark. 5:60, as you said, Chris, is his best so far out of those two competitions. And we had light work of that one.
We do love the enthusiasm as we see Menno Vloen of the Netherlands have his second attempt at 5 meters 52. Managed 5:66 in the opening meeting of the World Indoor Tour Gold in Karlsruhe. 5:96, his personal best indoors, just significantly better than his best outdoors, which is 5:88. Oh, it looked like he was going to sail over that one, but without having the side-on angle, it's come down too steeply.
Oh, it looked unfortunate, that. It definitely looked like he had the height on it, didn't it? Let's have another look. Yeah, just caught it with his quad on his way down. Yep, that's what he thinks of that one.
So Vloen not able to follow his compatriot Coppola over. So we thought Thiago Bratz was a little bit, not hesitant, but didn't necessarily attack it. It was a bit of a reserved effort, his first go at 5 meters 52. Passed at the previous height, so hasn't cleared a bar as yet in these early stages of the men's pole vault. The Olympic bronze medalist, Bratz, we're going to click things into gear in Torun. Again, not particularly convincing.
No, when you're used to seeing an athlete who performs on the big time, 2 times Olympic medalist, you're used to seeing them making light work of heights, especially in the early stages like this.
Of course, the beauty of all of these, particularly technical events, is we have absolutely no idea whether these athletes are carrying a problem. We're not party to every single bit of training that's gone well, that's gone badly. It's like little nicks that little problems that people have picked up. So sometimes you can sit here as a commentator and it all looks very easy, and you can criticise too easily. But we're only talking about on the face of what we're seeing. But at the moment, it's not clicking quite for him. But
And there'll be lots of reasons why people choose to do an indoor season. Sometimes it's because they've got a big height in the locker, or other times it will be to, work on those technicalities. Absolutely right what you said, Chris.
Here goes the Polish pole vault hero, Piotr Lisek. Piotr's power propels him over the bar to the joy of those in Arena Torun. And that will certainly give the competition a bit of a kickstart. Lisek goes clear.
Yeah, the Polish crowd liked that one. He was the first Pole to clear the 6-meter barrier. I always love his face. He's so animated, isn't he? Complete contrast to Thiago Bratz, who looks very relaxed just before he competes. Petro Lisek, he has to get himself up for it, doesn't he?
So good clearance from Lisek, who joins Stecchi of Italy and Lillefoss of Norway in going clear at 5 meters 52. Ernest Obiena, by the way, has passed at this height. He'll come in at the next height, which is scheduled to be, as you just saw on that caption, 5:62. In the meantime, Broders goes clear as well at 5:52. So for the benefit of those of you who maybe aren't regular watchers of athletics, maybe you tuned into the World Indoor Tour Gold for the first time. These athletes will have been out for a good hour before the competition, just marking out their run-ups, going through a few practice vaults, getting used to the runway. They'll have been in the arena yesterday, I'm sure, as well, going through a few warm-ups and getting themselves settled. They don't literally just get thrown at the bar and say, go on then, make the best of it, as we see Emmanuel Carolis. 5:52. He'll be looking for another performance here just to settle himself down after a disappointment earlier in the week. Those of you who are watching the Karlsruhe meeting, we mentioned a change of coaching for him over the winter after a bit of a break. Now coached by his dad, who's a former decathlete. Back to the pole vault shortly, but next up, once again, we're back in the company of major medalists in the women's 3,000 metres on track. And again, looking for some fast times. 11 athletes if you include the pacemaker on the outside. And that is Ejkehu Tei, the world 5 kilometre record holder, world indoor bronze medalist. Lemlem Hailu, the world indoor champion over this distance from Belgrade last year. Bokuha Getachew of Ethiopia, the world silver medalist over the steeplechase barriers, is alongside her. Maureen Costa of the Netherlands. See Marquez of Spain there, winning Anyondo, two-time world finalist over 800 metres. And on the inside, Freveni Hailu, the world indoor silver medalist over 800 metres. So 11 in total for Freveni Hailu right on the inside. This is her first ever attempt at something of this distance as well, a debut over 3,000 metres, so it'll be very interesting to see how she fares. Pace-wise, Jen, they're going to go for a world lead here.
Yeah, they are. So far, the world lead is 3:33.44. So they're hoping to do around about 8:30. But back to the pole vault in the meantime. We'll catch up with the 3K soon.
Wojciechowski for Poland looking to join Lisek in giving the Polish fans something to cheer, and he does. Wojciechowski clear at 5:52 at the second time of asking.
Well, back to this 3,000 metres, and we thought they wanted to do a world lead, but just having that eye on the pacemaker and trying to find out what sort of time she's taking them through, doesn't really look like the motivation's there with the rest of the athletes to go with it, does it?
Not at the moment. The pacemaker is Gebru Shihai of Ethiopia. So winning Anyondo, currently racing in second position, leading the quintet of Ethiopian athletes behind. As we mentioned, Lemlem Hailu, the world indoor champion over 300 metres. In Karlsruhe, she led home her colleague, Bokuha Getachew, who is in around about 5th position at the moment with the sleeves and the yellow shoes. Maureen Costa of the Netherlands just moving up amongst the Ethiopian athletes there in the black and white.
Yeah, lots of changes going on in these early stages of this race. It gives us a chance to talk about some of the other events as well. The women's mile, I'm just looking down. I think Adele Tracy from Jamaica there. That might have been a Jamaican indoor national record over the mile. So we talk about people trying to get world records, but lots of amazing things going on behind. So well done, Adele Tracy in 3rd position.
Alicia Konicek of Poland to the fore at the moment, but the pacemaker still a solid 20 metres ahead of the chasing pack, led by Winnie Nanyondo, who was 7th in the Olympic final over 1,500 metres. Also made the final of the 1,500 metres in Eugene, Oregon as well. It's only her 3rd 3,000 metre race as well, Nanyondo, so she's very much experimenting up in distance as well here.
Yeah, I remember racing Nanyondo over 800 metres. She was an amazing athlete. I think she was 4th in Doha 2019 at the World Championship. She's got a 1:58 to her name, so incredible to see her doing so well over 1,500 metres and now trying to winter well, put the strength in during the 3K indoors. And it is interesting how several of these athletes are making their way up through the distances. From Freveni Hailu, I never thought a girl who could run 1:57 would be making her way to the 3,000 metres, but again, she's got reasons why she wants to put herself in this 3,000 metres, and you can just see how packed it is and how pedestrian it is. There's a few bumps and barges there on the inside, isn't there?
Tiago Brass, 3rd and final attempt meanwhile, and the pole vault at 5:52. Hasn't cleared a bar yet, this to avoid a no height. Oh yes, just about. Bit of a grimace. 3/4 of the way up. I'm not sure I fancied him getting over that, but he's done it. So that has kept his competition alive with a clearance at 5:52.
Well, it wasn't pretty, was it? But he gritted his teeth, and it was good to see that grit and determination. So he's kept his competition alive.
So we'll keep an eye on the pace as they come around on this occasion. It's Ejkehu Tei, the world 5 kilometre record holder on the roads, 5th in the Olympic 5,000 metres, who is leading the chasing pack as the pacemaker just comes back to them a little bit here. Lemlem Hailu in third position overall. Then comes Furueni Hailu, then Nanyondo and Getachew.
Well, sometimes we can get carried away with paces and ambitions and all those objectives. It's nice to actually see a real race, isn't it? And at some point, the only thing I can guarantee is that someone is going to put the foot down.
Well, Alicia Konicek of Poland is the one who's decided she's going to come and get on the coattails of the pacemaker here. Set her personal best in Boston in the meeting a few days ago at 8:51. 28 years of age, a steeplechaser outdoors, a World University Games and European Team Championship winner. And she's the one at the moment as the pacemaker is passed and the race is on. And it's Konicek for Poland, who I'm sure in her home arena will be enjoying leading a clutch of global medalists here.
Yeah, and good for her. I'm glad she was brave enough to actually think, you know what, I'm going to make a race of this. She ran well. She ran in Boston at the weekend. She ran 8:51 over the 3,000 metres. So it just looks like she's thought, you know what, I've had enough of this. I just want to get a really good training run, if nothing else here. And I'm just prepared to put myself to the front of this pack. And what, there's 3-4 minutes of running left.
So just under 7 laps to go then. There are 5 Ethiopians in the race, but it's Poland who lead at the moment. From the World Indoor bronze medalist, Ejgehu Tay in second place. Then comes the World Indoor champion, Lemlem Hailu. Then comes Furueni Hailu, making her 3,000 metre debut in 4th. Nanyondo, the shorter athlete, in 5th. The taller athlete on the outside is Getachew, the world steeplechase silver medalist. And then comes Maureen Costa in the black of the Netherlands.
Well, what an array of medals that all of those athletes have got between them. Really good to see Maureen Costa as well. She's almost tripped there in the black. She's sitting in around about 6th position there. She's been a 2-time European Championship finalist. Moved up from 1,500 metres over the years, and now she fancies herself as a 5,000 metre runner. But well, she's still got herself there, Chris, in around about 7th position. As we're seeing some people darting to the front now. I think the pace is about to change. It's got to speed up at some point.
Well, we'll get the 1,000 metre split as they come round. 1,000 metres to go in just a moment as they come past us here with 6:05 there or thereabouts on the clock, which is going to take us somewhere around about outside 9 minutes here if they continue at this pace. We've got a whole mix here. We've got 800 metre runners, we've got steeplechasers, we've got road 5 kilometre world record holders, all chasing the 3,000 metre prize here.
And it is still Furueni Hailu who's put herself at the front now. Now, this is an interesting tactic. She's probably the athlete who's got the most amount of speed in her legs. So I'm not sure whether I would have put myself in front with 1,000 metres to go, knowing that everyone's sitting on me. I know I've got a sting in the tail and I can really put a spurt on. But maybe she'll just appreciate now Teye coming past her, gives her an opportunity just to follow her. And she wouldn't be one of the ones who you'd fancy for winning this race, Furueni Hailu. But if she can just hold on there, like you say, Chris, the pace is nowhere near as fast as we expected it. Maybe she can cause a little bit of a sting in the tail.
Well, that 800 metre race in Karlsruhe, she was surprisingly beaten by Anita Horvath, despite running the 5th fastest race of her career for Furueni Hailu. But it maybe tells us a bit that she was winding up for a 3,000 metre bid. But it's Ejgehu Tay at the front, who has been pretty much in close order behind the pacemakers ever since the word go. Others have come and gone, but she's been pretty much to the fore the whole time. From Furueni Hailu, then Lemlem Hailu. Costa still mixing it well there, the Dutch athlete as well in the black. Then Getachew had a little bit of a surge a moment ago to try and move things along, but now he's back in 4th position, and Nanyondo still hanging on to this leading group.
And we've got a lot of good indoor specialists here. Teye was the bronze medalist at the World Championships last year. Lemlem Hailu, she won that 3,000 metres, didn't she? And here is Lemlem Hailu there, coming in 2nd position. She's got herself right on the shoulder of Teye there. And Getachew as well, she follows. So Ethiopia, 1, 2, 3 and 4 at the moment.
Well, in Karlsruhe, first time around in the World Indoor Tour Gold, it was Lemlem Hailu who beat Getachew. And as they make their way now, coming round the bend into the straight with a lap to go, it is still Lemlem Hailu out front. Getachew a metre behind now. Tay just doesn't want to get too far away from the front, but it's Furueni Hailu who challenges at the bell.
Well, it is the athlete who's got that 800 metre speed. She just saw off a challenge there from Teye. What has she got from Furueni Hailu in the lead so far? Teye in 2nd place and Lemlem Hailu in 3rd.
Furueni Hailu, the World Indoor 800 metre athlete, on her 3,000 metres debut is leading others behind here. She's 3 or 4 metres ahead. Tay in 2nd place has got nothing left to give, and this is a supremely impressive performance up towards the line. Furueni Hailu takes it 8:46.95 on her 3,000 metre debut. from Tay, from Lemlem Hailu, and that is some serious scalps there on debut for the 800-meter world indoor medalist Freveni Hailu.
Well, Freveni Hailu did not have a personal best over 3,000 metres before she started this race. You certainly wouldn't have thought that she could beat the world indoor champion over this distance and the bronze medalist. But it just goes to show sometimes you rip up the form book. And she's took that win, and what an impressive win it was.
Well, that maybe goes in some part to explain getting beaten over 800 metres a week ago, Jenny, if she's in a different kind of training block here preparing for this that we didn't know she was preparing for.
Yeah, and it was a very fast pace that they were asked to do over that 800 metres, and I thought, gosh, you've got to know that you're in that sort of shape, and she went off really quick in that 800 metres, and Horvat from Slovenia overhauled her towards the end, which was maybe a surprise for a strength-based athlete, but it just shows that Hailu's probably not done the speed training at the moment, but she's certainly got lots of endurance in those legs. She looks like she's wintered well, and the big question is, what distance is she going to go over in the outdoor season?
Well, we talk about her 800-metre pedigree. She was, of course, fourth in the Olympic final over 1,500 metres as well. So we have the full range here. This is an impressive debut at 21 years of age as well. It's an early time to be making the step up, isn't it, before you're too deep into your career. She set a PB, actually, here in the 1,500 metres last year. Third in the Diamond League final over 1,500 metres. So what a range, and certainly one or two of her colleagues who've been sitting at the longer distance have got a new pretender possibly to the throne. There's the confirmed results. No surprise to see Ethiopians dominating, but maybe a little bit of a surprise that if it was going to be a Hailu winning, that it was Freveni Hailu and not the world indoor champion Lemlem. So we've seen a world record attempt that unfortunately slipped away for Gudaf Sige. We've seen a very competitive, if not the fastest, women's 3,000 metres, but certainly in terms of a tactical race, that was well executed by the 21-year-old Hailu as well. Now we move into the centre of the arena. These athletes have already come through 2 heats earlier on in the day, and there are big things expected of the athlete in lane 4, Pia Skrzydłowska of Poland, who got very close to the Polish record a few days ago. So here are the athletes then. Veronika Nadzic will go in lane 1. Andrea Roots of Norway. Rita Hersko, another one who's been in excellent form. She goes in lane 3. And here is Pia Skrzydłowska chasing the Polish record that has been set, or been held, I should say, since March 1980. She's 1/100th of a second outside it. Brittany Anderson of Jamaica, the world silver medalist outdoors over the 110 metres hurdles. Sorry, the 100 metres hurdles, I should say. Nadine Visser, 5th in the Olympic final outdoors. The world indoor bronze medalist from Birmingham. And Ditaji Kambunji, sister of the world indoor champion over 60 metres flat, which is the, I guess, the natural thing to say every time we see her from this supreme sporting family of Swiss athletes. And the Irish athlete, Sarah Lavin, is on the outside in lane 8. But Skrzydłowska, Jenny, is the one they've all been talking about.
They have, and I've watched her for a number of years, and such a talented athlete. She got 100th away from that national record. And I'm sure, like Damien Kachia, when he got the record last year over these 5 barriers, she'd love to be able to do it in this venue.
So the European champion outdoors last summer, the 21-year-old, the world leader, 7:78 she set just a few days ago in Poland in Lodz. The 9th best European of all time, Pia Skrzydłowska in lane 4. Rita Herska in lane 3, ranked number 3 this year. Brittany Anderson, as we said, the world silver medalist outdoors. Kambunji, the European bronze medalist outdoors. Keep an eye on that clock, that Polish record, 7:77.
4.
Away they go. Herska got a good start on the inside of Skrzydłowska. Anderson trying to get back into it. Skrzydłowska at this stage. Herska though pushing her all the way to the line. That's going to be very tight. 7.81. Skrzydłowska pulling up pretty quickly there. I hope she's okay. But that's a dip on the line there between Herska on her inside, who got away much better, put her under pressure all the way down the straight. And the photo will be needed to decide who got it.
Well, that was a great run from Herska. That's a personal best for her. Whether she took the win or not, that would have been well inside her current personal best of 7.86 seconds. Oh, and there we go. It is a Polish win, 7.79. It's been rounded down by a couple of hundredths. And Herska, she's just looking, isn't she? What time have I done? Well, that is our winner and a meeting record. Wasn't to be the national record, but so close once again.
While Rita Herska is looking at the time, 7.86 is the time that she is looking to beat. As we see the replay here, Herska got away extremely well in lane 3, rose just about first. Skrzydłowska now into her running. Anderson was always trailing those two. And Skrzydłowska in the last couple of strides. Just see how she pulled up, Jenny, which made me concerned that she'd hurt herself after the line. But let's have a look at this at the side on, right on the dip. And in the end, actually, from that angle, side on, quite a clear winner from Herska. 7.79.
Yeah, she was, and I think that 7.81 that came up on the clock was Herska. But it's just because she just dipped so hard, didn't she, for that line? Look at that grit, look at that determination that Skrzydłowska shows. I think we could just hear her in the background. She's talking to the crowd. I think sometimes when there's so much expectation on you to run a time, you've actually got to win the race first. And she had to grit all the way to the finish to take that victory, didn't she?
So there's the confirmed results. Rita Herska with that personal best indoors of 7.81. Skrzydłowska, well, she's been so consistent this year. That's another time in the 7.70s for her. 7.79, just 200ths outside that record, which, as we said, has stood for 43 years to Zofia Bilcik. But she's coming for it. I just hope there's no ill effects there of that, what looked a slight grimace and a slight pull up at the end. But a meeting record, and Skrzydłowska will be a big hope for Poland at the European Indoor Championships in Istanbul.
And I think when she breaks out, she'll knock a chunk off it. That's what happens sometimes, isn't it? You're just so consistent for a period of time, and then all of a sudden, you just pop one good time. And I've got to say, the first four, they all ran incredible. You know, we've got to say Anderson and Visser as well. So good to see Visser back this year. Saw her competing last year. She had a lot of injury woes, but she still thought it was important to make sure she competes. And it's just been really good to see that she's been able to put a solid winter base in. And I'm sure Nadine Visser will be trying to get on that podium as well at that European Indoor Championships.
So with Polish athletes going well in the pole vault as well, and having had a decent high jump too. Pia Skrzydłowska with Eva Svoboda still to come in the women's 60 metres flat. And unfortunately no Damian Shakir in the men's high hurdles, which is coming up very shortly. Didn't make it through the heats a little bit earlier on. Again, we've had so many close-ups of Pia Skrzydłowska's facials. But a good evening's work over 2 rounds for her in Torun. Just while we've got the chance, by the way, we talk about the European Indoor Championships in Istanbul, which plans are still moving forward for. We should very much pass on our thoughts and best wishes to all of those involved in the horrendous situation in Turkey at the moment, Jenny, which is obviously just awful.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people all around the globe have been following the developments after the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. Unfortunately, many people lost their lives. I think around about 10,000 people have been accounted for so far. Let's hope that figure doesn't climb too much more.
Back in the arena with Per Haugen Lillefoss of Norway, who goes clear with his attempt at 5 metres and 62. Impressive card so far from the Italian Claudio Stecchi, who's had 3 clearances. Ernest Obieno of Philippines coming in with a first-time clearance at his opening height of 5.62. Vloon is also clear at 5.62. As you can see there, Lillefoss, the European medalist, has joined him. Wojciechowski, can he follow them over? got to get this. Not to be for the world champion from 2011. Bronze medal as well a few years later in 2015, but Paweł Wojciechowski, 5:52. That's an improvement by 20 centimetres or so what he'd produced earlier on in this indoor season.
And it's always a really well-respected meet for the male pole vaulters here. Mondo Duplantis came here and won himself 3 years ago. Sam Kendricks a couple of years ago. And Ernest John Obiena, he was the winner last year.
So Thiago Bratz took 3 attempts to get over 5:52. This is his third attempt at 5:62. Things not smooth at the moment for the Olympic bronze medalist. DJ doing his bit on the decks in Arena Torun to get the crowd behind Thiago Bratz. His 2 competitions so far, 5:66 in Karlsruhe and 5:67 at the Mondo Classic in Sweden. But doesn't get 5:62 today, so Thiago Bratz bows out with just 1 bar cleared at 5:52. Disappointing competition for the Brazilian. Rutger Koppelar has passed at 5:62. He's on the runway now, so the bar moving up to 5:67 as Bratz, the last athlete to have to take an attempt at 5:62. So 3 athletes have passed at 5:67. Obiena is one of them. He's actually passed through to 5:77. Menno Vloon has passed at 5:67, as has Ben Broders. So Rutger Koppelar will be the first to go. As I mentioned earlier, 2 contrasting competitions so far, 5:60 in Germany and 5:36 a few days ago in Poland. Live coverage of the World Indoor Tour Gold from World Athletics, the 3rd meeting of 7. Saturday, it's the Millrose Games in New York. You'll be able to watch that wherever you're watching us right now around the world. Then next Wednesday, it's another very fast meeting, Levan, with some big names lined up for that one as well. And we have meetings in Madrid and Birmingham, the World Indoor Tour Gold Final in Birmingham towards the end of the month. Full details on the World Athletics website, along with the standings of all these individual events as well. Men's sprint hurdles coming up shortly, by the way, and the men's and women's 800 metres, and we close the night with the women's 60 metres flat final. But the bar's up at 5:67. Koppelar first to have a go. Piotr Lisek will be next to go. Just getting a sense in the background there of why this is such a good arena, because it's quite steep. The seats are very steep around the track, so it really does give you a cauldron-like atmosphere, whether you're taking part in track events or field. The spectators are right there above you. Lisek to take on 5:67. He has cleared 5:70 this year. And may well again today, because that is an impressive clearance at 5:67.
That's 2 impressive clearances now. He looked good at his previous as well. And he's come here ready to put on a good performance for his home crowd, hasn't he? Just look at that concentration. I can't believe he's still only 30 years of age. He's an athlete who just seems to have been going forever.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier, he's looking for his 3rd win in this. He won this in 2015 and he won it in 2018. His 6-metre national record outdoor, 6:02, goes back to 2019. London 2017 world silver medalist. 2 bronzes as well either side of that, so a 3-time World Championship medalist at successive championships as well. So we talk about proven top-level performers, consistent over multiple stagings of world events.
Absolutely, and still going really strong here. And I guess, in a way, you know, if it wasn't for Mondo Duplantis, you know, so many of these guys would be picking up those medals time and time again. It's just, what, you've got to say there's 20 top guys in the world, and if they weren't in this era, they'd be real superstars in any other era.
Yeah, you think of even the Americans who aren't in these events, Sam Kendricks and the Casey Lightfoots and all of those kind of guys as well.
And just getting in the team,
Absolutely.
in the US as well.
I guess the question is who's coming out of the pack to be the closest regular pursuer to Duplantis. Coppola, his second attempt at 5.67 after an abort on the first one and an abort on the second one. Certainly Ernest John Obiena, who we haven't seen too much of in this competition yet, but he's going to come back in at the next height of 5.72. He's one who's just starting to emerge, isn't he, with his World Championship bronze medal. He's an Asian record holder. It's one of those who just now is starting to be very consistent at the top level.
He is. He's finishing his top 3 in his 5 indoor competitions so far this indoor season.
And look at the long jump. Adrian Brzezinski of Poland. No one out. He's a mid 7-meter jumper at his best. Is Adrian Brzezinski, 7.55. Bringing up to date with the long jump very shortly, by the way. I can tell you there has been a very impressive jump in that competition from Miltiades Tentoglou. Obviously our Polish host broadcast, focusing largely on some of the Polish athletes in the field events. As we get that measurement of 7 meters 31 for Brzezinski in round 5. I can tell you that in round 2, Miltiades Tentoglou, 8 meters 40. Quite considerably a world lead.
Wow.
And that's in the top 20 all-time indoors.
Well, I was going to say that Jeremiah Davis has got the world lead at 8.21. Well, he did have the world lead. Tentoglou's just put 19 centimeters on that.
Just one legal jump for Montler so far at 8.17. But we're on track down the centre again with the sprint hurdles as we see Milan Trajkovic, world and Olympic finalist for Cyprus, heading for lane 1. Krzysztof Kilian of Poland, 23 years of age, a personal best of 7.62 set this year. The vastly experienced Olympic and European medalist Dimitri Bascu of France, 35 years of age. Daniel Roberts, second fastest man in the world this year, behind Grant Holloway, over from the US to take part in this meeting. He was the fastest qualifier. Peter Svoboda won his heat earlier on. Experienced Czech athlete, 38 years of age. This man's been in great form, consistent form. Roger Iribane, the Portugal-based Cuban, equaled his personal best in the heats a little bit earlier on, did Iribane, with 7.54. Enrique Llopis won the meeting in Karlsruhe on the dip from his Spanish colleague Asier Martinez. And Jakub Szymanski of Poland, world junior bronze medalist outdoors in PB form this year, 7.57 from Karlsruhe. This is really competitive, Jenny.
Oh, it is. And I'd probably say, I don't know, I'm supposed to pick a favourite, but Roberts looked good, didn't he? He looked very good. We had the pleasure of being able to watch him in the heats just before we came on air. And he also looked really good in Boston last week. Finished second behind world record holder Grant Holloway. And he has drawn one of the centre lanes here. But there were some impressive heats nonetheless. But none of that matters now. It's the final.
Just keep an eye on Roger Iribane as well in the red. As we say, the Cuban who's been stringing together some great performances, tying his PB, number 6 in the world this year. Trajkovic on the far side, furthest from the camera when we see them. Kilian, Bascu, Roberts, Svoboda, Iribane, Llopis and Szymanski closest to the camera there in the yellow. The men's 60 metres hurdles final in Torun.
third,
No problems with the start. Roberts got a flyer. Bascu on his inside as well. Svoboda's clattering them. It's Roberts. Here comes Iribane. Roberts hangs on. There's a fall at the end there for Lopez, but it's Daniel Roberts who takes it. 7.48 unofficially from the fast finishing Iribane and the two form athletes. It goes with the book. The American athlete gets there.
Well, it did go with the book. I thought Roberts was absolutely superb right from the beginning. It's been rounded down there, 7.46. But you said Iribane's finish would be good, didn't you, Chris? And he proved it. He was really coming off to that last hurdle. Let's have another look at it there. Roberts in the middle, in the blue. Iribane 2 lanes outside him in the red. And watch this towards the finish. Oh, and it was the athlete out in lane 8 who clattered that last hurdle.
Well, there were hurdles flying everywhere in that, Jenny. I'm not sure anybody put in a particularly clean round. Even Roberts hit the one before that as well. But on the stride there, another metre. And it might have been Iribane's, but Daniel Roberts in the end didn't even have to put in the full lean, did he? That's an excellent performance again from Daniel Roberts, given that he was competing in Boston only a few days ago. Across the Atlantic he comes, and another victory for him.
Yeah, he's racking them up, isn't he? Which is great for his season. I'm sure that'll bode well for his outdoor season. But Iribane, if that was over 110 hurdles, he would have stood a chance of taking that, wouldn't he?
We mentioned he equalled his personal best. Well, that is a new personal best for Iribane, taking 500ths of a second off it. Daniel Roberts' time, 3rd fastest in the world this year. Just look at Bascu clattering them all in white. Svoboda smashing through them as well. Keep your eye on Lopez as well in the green, who hits that last hurdle, actually fell from lane 7 into lane 8. Thankfully not knocking over Szymanski, who was outside him.
Well, he did absolutely clatter that, didn't he? And I said it was the athlete in lane 8. He was in 7. He finished in 8, like you said, Chris. This is a great head-on shot, isn't it?
Not a great shot if you're Lopez, who's fallen out of the shot, unfortunately, but yeah, Roberts, of course, Grant Holloway and Daniel Roberts have gone back to 2019 with their rivalry, I guess, when Daniel Roberts was just having one or two problems, but it really looks like he's coming back to his best now, and it's going to be fascinating with no major championship, of course, for the American athletes in this spring indoor season, to see how he can translate this now to a big world championship outdoor season. So we haven't seen much of Miltiades Tentoglou so far. There on that caption you can see that amazing jump in the second round of 8 meters 40 for the Greek, the Olympic champion. And one last hurrah. That looks like a big one as well from Tentoglou. We wait for the white flag. The Olympic and European champion really is showing some fantastic early season form here. Just his second meeting of the season. 8:40 is only 15 centimeters behind his lifetime best with that second round jump. Excellent on the board that time.
Well, I love how he sights the board. He doesn't look down. You see about 3 steps out, he just has a little bit of a glance. It's almost like he's taught his eyeballs just to have a little look there, and then he manages to keep his head up. But he is an athlete who is so consistent, and there we go. That's another indication of his consistency. 8:27. That's the second best in the world so far this year. He's racking those jumps up now, isn't he?
So Tentoglou, we mentioned, I mean, his CV in the last few years. If you go back to 2018, the European Championship Outdoors, he won that, won the European Indoors in 19, European Indoors in 21, won the Olympics in 21, World Indoors in 22, won the Europeans in 22. His only problems he's had, and I say that in inverted commas, has been the World Outdoors in 19 and in 2022, when the only ones he didn't win.
Well, that is why he's ranked world #1 by World Athletics, due to that consistency, and still only 24 years of age.
Now, this is a gentleman we haven't seen much of so far, but he has been the event leader in the pole vault, Claudio Stecchi of Italy. And putting together vaults like that, you can see why he's having a good day. Claudio Stecchi, again, not one of the rising stars. He's 31 years of age, is Claudio Stecchi. He's a world finalist from the Doha World Championships Outdoors in 2019. Well, that clearance for him at 5'72" maintains a clean card, 4 from 4.
And it's so important, isn't it, to keep those clean cards, especially when you're trying to go up at heights at this early stage of the indoor season. A lot of points, a lot of victories could be won through keeping that clear card.
So we've just seen Stecki go clear. Lisek now with the bar at 5 meters 72. This would be his season's best performance. I think we can say that Piotr Lisek is reveling in the home crowd.
Sometimes when it's your night, it's just your night. Everything that you touch just works sometimes. You just find your rhythm, you just find your groove. And he just looks so good on the runway. Every single time you can see his face and he looks confident, he looks like he's enjoying it. And he's just loving life right now.
He is. It's Piotr Lisek, so he joins Stecki in going clear. Coppola and Obiena have both passed at this height of 5.72. So Ben Broders will be the next to go. He passed at the previous height of 5.67, so he's jumping up 10 centimetres from his previous clearance of 5.62. Here's the athlete from Belgium. Careful. Goodness me. Just anybody watching, it's just a bit of a gasp. I'm sure he knows that's all under control, but from the angle we're at, Jenny, and everyone watching those pictures, just makes you just sit up in your chair that little bit nearer the edge, doesn't it, when that happens?
It does, but it's so tough, isn't it? Just the pure science behind this event. It's absolutely unbelievable when you actually break it down. I think if you break it down and you analyse it and you overanalyse it, it will make you probably think, I never want to do it again, even if you're an accomplished jumper. But yeah, Ben Broders knows what he's doing. He just bailed from there, and thankfully he got off the mat and everything's fine.
Well, it was so interesting listening to Holly Bradshaw doing the job that we're doing, commentating on the Mondo Classic as a pole vault specialist, to be able to hear her break down the event for some of those of us who aren't pole vault specialists. It was so refreshing and so insightful to have Holly's commentary. I'm sure we'll hear plenty more of that. I know she's certainly not ready to stop competing yet, but when she is, hopefully we'll hear much more of her on commentary as we see Per Hågen Lillefoss of Norway. Just tried to wriggle his way over that one, didn't he? And he joins the others before him in failing at 5 meters 72. Now then, this one's been one people have been waiting for. The women's 800 meters. And again, fast times, rivalries renewed, particularly between Kili Hodgkinson and Mary Moraa of Kenya. 4 laps of the track. As we meet, first of all, Alexandra Winicka of Poland. Halima Nakai, the world champion over 800 meters outdoors, the world indoor bronze medalist from last time out in Belgrade, representing Uganda. Then Margarita Koshanova, another of those in good form this year, a personal best of 2:04, set in Germany a few days ago. Anita Horvat, who we mentioned earlier on, took that scalper for Reni Hailu with a personal best performance just outside 2 minutes in Karlsruhe. Angelika Sana, European Team Championship bronze medalist, 2:05 runner, her best time this year. Mary Moraa's not hanging around, the world bronze medalist, the Commonwealth Games champion. She's straight off to business, as will be the Olympic and world silver medalist, Kili Hodgkinson, defending a record of only 1 indoor loss over 800 meters in her career. Noelle Yarigo of Benin, the world leader, the only athlete this year under 2 minutes. And the pace will be set by Anita Lemis of Poland. Jenny, what are we expecting from Kili Hodgkinson here? What's she aiming for? She set a British record first time out over 800 metres last year.
Yeah, I think Kili will be looking to revise those British record figures here. She's already started very well with a very, very quick 600 metres, the fastest of all time. But Chris, you talked about rivalries. Mary Moraa, she's got to get past her, of course. Anita Horvat, she was our winner in Karlsruhe. Nakai, of course, former world champion over this distance. And Yarigo is the fastest woman in the world so far. So this is a tough, tough race. I can't wait to see how this one unfolds.
Well, the pace they're expecting to go is around about 57 through halfway as we scroll through the field. Hodgkinson against Morar was a great contest, of course, last year. Two of the exciting young talents, Hodgkinson 20, Morar 22. As Jenny mentioned, Keely Hodgkinson, fresh from that 600 metres indoor world best in Manchester. This her seasonal debut over 800 metres.
Well, this will be a really interesting one. It'd be interesting to see how Mary Morar gets out, and we could already see she's got out quick. But we can see Nakai is the one, I think, who's... Oh, actually, Nakai is behind Keely at the moment. It's Yurigo. Yurigo, the world leader. She doesn't want to get that world lead taken away from her, so she's got a lot to live up to in this race. And 27.73 seconds, that was Flamise. Looking back at Keely and Mary Morar, where we thought the race was going to be, they might have been more around 29 seconds. So have we got a race on here rather than an outward time trial?
Well, it's the 37-year-old Noella Yarigo of Benin at the moment who has left Hodgkinson, Morar, and also the others, including Nakai, in their wake at the moment. Keep an eye on the clock at halfway. It's around about what it is, 57 for the leader, the rest a second or two behind.
Well, the pacemaker has done a fantastic job, and Yurigo has really gone after this pace. Keely Hodgkinson, 10 metres back at the moment. Mary Morar behind her. 300 metres to go. This is where it starts really hurting in 800 metres. And I know Keely Hodgkinson will be trying to now focus on reeling that pace back in, and what's going to happen now with 200 metres to go.
So the world leader, Noella Yarigo, now challenged at the bell by Keely Hodgkinson. Morar coming past Nakai in third position. The British record indoors held by Keely Hodgkinson is at 157.2 as Hodgkinson hits the front, down the back now. Yarigo not quite going away at the moment, but Hodgkinson with 100 metres left to go. No sign of Mary Morar at the moment. She's back in the wing mirrors, way behind. Hodgkinson straightening up for home. Keep an eye on that clock. 157.2 is the British record held by Hodgkinson. Just outside that, sub 158 though. Great start to the year over 800 metres for Keely Hodgkinson. Great run from Noella Yarigo as well in second position, who went out with fortitude and in the end gave Hodgkinson a really good race.
She absolutely did. Yurigo absolutely went after that pace, and I can't wait to see what time comes on the clock for Yurigo. She's got to have run a huge personal best indoors. But that's a reminder for us, it is a world lead there for Keely Hodgkinson. And it's been rounded down, 157.87. Well, you know, sometimes when you come here and you're trying to run a fast pace, you've got to actually remember you've got to win the race first and foremost. And it was very, very quick at the beginning, and Yurigo has seen it. I'm presuming she's screaming because it's a national record. Let's have a look. She looks absolutely delighted with whatever time she's run.
Well, we haven't seen it yet. She's seen it in the arena. Hasn't come up on the graphics at the moment from Yarigo, but certainly Keely Hodgkinson, all the talk was between Hodgkinson and Morar. Maybe that was unfair to Yarigo, who was the world leader and the only athlete to run sub 2. But on the form of last year, we were talking about Hodgkinson against Morar, but this certainly was forced all the way towards the line. Great race between these two.
Yeah, it was really interesting. You know, Mary Morar has never raced indoors before, so you would think you've already got a World Championship bronze medal, you're the Commonwealth Games champion, you're the Diamond League final winner, so you would expect her to come in some sort of shape. So I can understand why all the pundits were thinking that would be a duel between the two. But Keely Hodgkinson, I think she'll be quite disappointed with that one. She's in way better shape than that, but come on, it's still one of the fastest times in the world ever. But Yurigo, there it is, 158.48. What a fantastic personal best.
Well, the reason she's shrieking amongst it being a personal best is it's the first time she's ever broken 159 indoors or outdoors. So to do that by half a second as well, that is a great run from Noella Yarigo of Benin. Keely Hodgkinson, the Olympic and world silver medalist, European champion outdoors, of course. You said she won't be too happy, Jenny. You're at the high standards, I guess, of the Hodgkinson camp. But for you run 157, you're not happy. So I guess that's where the bar is.
It is absolutely. A lot of people were saying after that 600 metres world best, what can she do over 800 metres? It's hard, isn't it? You know, that extra 200 metres sometimes. You've got that big billboard of two of the best athletes in the world racing each other, and sometimes the race just doesn't go the way you think it is. And you know, she was off the pace early on. She found the strength in the finishing stages, but she goes again next week in Lievan, and we'll bring that one to you.
Difficult card for Tobias Montler in the long jump so far. 4 fouls, a best of 8.17, but leads with Tentoglu at 8.40. This is the final round. Heading out over 8 meters if he gets the white flag. Doesn't look like it's going to be long enough to challenge that lead held by Tentoglu. So the Swedish athlete Tobias Montler, as we mentioned, competing outside of his native Sweden for the first time this year. Has been getting some warm weather training in Tenerife. But in terms of competitive opportunities, the world indoor silver medalist from last spring is going to be finishing in 2nd place here to the man who beat him that time round, and the man who just keeps finishing ahead of him, Miltiades Tentoglu. But again, it's 2 athletes with so much more to come as Montler matches his 2nd round mark of 8.17 to finish in 2nd position. Just short of one of the marks he posted in Stockholm a couple of weeks ago. Problems for Marcus Dendy, by the way, in the long jump. Only managed 1 jump and then passed after round 2, 7.84, and then passed his next 4 attempts, so all not right with Marcus Dendy. We're seeing Michael Masso there, who on my computer has already taken his final round jump.
Excellent result and a new world leading.
I'm very happy. I'm happy to come over the win, a decent opener on this fast track. The crowd was really loud, so yeah, all good vibes.
Kili mówi, że tutaj jest taka wspaniała publiczność, która ją
So that the
niosła w
English-speaking
tym
audience could hear what Kili Hodgkinson had to say. If you could just pick that up in the background.
What's your plan for next stars? Maybe European title in Istanbul?
Yes, I'll be there defending my title, so fingers crossed to come away with another gold.
Okay. Kili powiedziała, że oczywiście
Just
przygotowuje się do
confirming that she'll be going for the European indoors. I think we know that's the plan, don't we? So Miltiades Tentoglu will also be, I'm sure, defending his title that he won in this very arena in 2021, the European indoor title. Doesn't look like he's going to be taking his final round attempt. But with 8.40 and 8.27 and 8.24, I think that's a series that he can be very happy with, despite not taking that last one. And in fact, there is the confirmed final result of that men's long jump. What a performance from Miltiades Tentoglu of 8 meters 40, a big world lead ahead of Montler and Masso. So next on the track will be the men's 800 metres very shortly. And then we close with the women's 60 metres final. Pole vault, of course, is still just bubbling up in the background as well. So that's our final field event ongoing after Hamish Kerr took victory in the high jump earlier on, and that victory for Tentoglu in the long jump. Men's pole vault bar is now moving up to 5 meters and 77. More on that shortly. First though, 10 athletes lining up in the men's 800 meters. Pacemaker just on the bottom of that caption there as well, Robert Brzezinski. First of all, we see Kasper Lewalski, the European under-20 silver medalist, just 19 years of age. 146.8 runner. Adrian Ben of Spain, Olympic finalist outdoors, 5th place in Tokyo. Simone Barantini of Italy, European under-23 champion from 2021. Polish favourite Mateusz Bukowski, another one of the European medalists, a European indoor silver medalist from this very arena. Mateusz Bukowski. Patrick Dobek, the Olympic bronze medalist outdoors for Poland as well. Another one who holds this track in his personal best CV. Collins Kipruto of Kenya won this race in 2020. been in action already this year, a 1:45.8 performance. The Polish champion is Patryk Siedacki. 1:48, his best this year. That was a lifetime best performance in Spain. Familiar figure around the European distance scene is the tall Swedish athlete Andreas Kramer. 1:45, he's performed this year as well. Jamie Webb in the top 10 all-time indoors. European indoor silver medalist from 2019. Guy Learmont's been putting together some good races as well, the Scottish athlete. His third outing of the year so far. 2 1:46 performances so far. And the pacemaker Robert Belinsky, the last one out. A lot of top athletes here, Jenny. This is a high-quality 800 again.
It is. All the events have been high quality. The slowest person in this field on outdoor personal best is 1:45.1. A couple of athletes who's got personal best of 1:43, and the majority of the other men have all ran 1:44. So have I ever seen an 800 metres as good as this indoors? I'm not sure whether I have.
It's busy as well. That's the one thing we will say. This is a large number of athletes. Most lanes double booked. 5 of this field have set their personal best on this very track. The world leading time is held at 1:45.04 by the Belgian athlete Thibaut de Smet for the back end of January. That's on their mind here. Looking to go through, Jenny, in around about 51 or so to target that world lead.
Yeah, and I think it's a good target, that world lead, 1:45.04. As we can see, really quick start there. Oh, Kipruto's gone right to the front. But
yeah, Kramer got a nudge there. Siedacki was in trouble. Learmont got balked as well there. I'm pleased they managed to all stay on their feet. Not sure how much of the race that will have affected for them as they go through in 24.14. Kipruto from Kramer. And then comes Patrick Dobek in the white and blue. Adrian Ben with the blonde hair. Guy Learmont just checked back there as he was trying to make some forward progress. He's ended up 2/3 of the way back through the field.
Well, the pacemaker went through really quickly. He's just had to back off there. But Kipruto looks like he's really trying to push this pace on. Kramer's following him. And what time have we got? Well, it was perfect at 400 metres. 51.37 as Kipruto and Kramer start to collide as well. This is where we need the pacemaker just to start moving off. He's done really well to get these men to 500 metres. Ben now coming through in 3rd position. He's managed to come back from that near trip.
So now this leading group of 2 starting to be reeled in by the others. Adrian Ben, also Burkowski, Learmont trying to get closer. Dobek is going backwards. Barantini of Italy now coming past a few as well. But Kramer of Sweden now as they take the bell from Kipruto and Adrian Ben. Kramer just extending by a metre or 2 now. Ben coming up onto the shoulder of Collins Kipruto. Barantini of Italy up into 5th position behind Burkowski, going past Learmont and also Kowalski of Poland. But it's Andreas Kramer of Sweden who's had that 2-metre lead for most of this final lap and is moving away to take it. Andreas Kramer, 1:46 from Kipruto and Ben at the 1-2-3. Kramer timed his strike to perfection around the bell. And they didn't get past him. Kramer the victor.
Well, Kramer, again, a bit like Lakey Claver at the beginning of the meeting when we talked about how she's managed her race really well. Kramer used to go off really hard, didn't he? And he used to try and just hold on to that, use that 400-metre speed. Well, these days he's got a lot more endurance as well. Seen him compete in a couple of 1,500 metres. So he doesn't need to quite burn the lactic too early in the race. He knows he's still got enough that last 200 metres. And it was a good win for him in the end.
Well, I'll be interested to see that little incident back, Jenny, as we see the strike by Kramer here at the bell, literally cutting right across Kipruto, getting himself to that curb. The runners coming in from behind. Barantini was impressive in the second half of the race, but had too much to do as well. Learmont stuck to his task, but others were going a bit quicker in the home straight, so pretty well strung out in that home straight in the end. I will wonder if we do get a replay of that very early little skirmish, which again, it's very hard to know who got spiked or how much impact it had, but certainly Learmont was very significantly affected and went backwards, and another athlete ended up, I think, out in lane 3.
Yeah, it just happened all at once, didn't it? Like you say, after the first 100 metres or so. Just looking at Guy Learmont's face as he walks off the track, I can tell he's not happy what went on out there, but that's just what happens sometimes in these loaded fields.
Again, we mentioned that lots of the lanes were double booked. And that is sometimes what happens. It is hard, the restriction of an indoor track when you've only got 6 lanes, but you've got so many top quality athletes that want to take part. Of course, that's the beauty of this World Indoor Tour series across gold, silver and bronze, as well as challenger levels, is that there are many more competitive top-level opportunities for athletes. Sparantini, I mentioned his fast finish. He's rewarded with an indoor PB of 1:47.42. But Kramer the victory from Kipruto and Ben. On the track, we have the women's 60 metres still to come. So we see Claudio Stecchi in the pole vault. 5 metres 82 this, first time of asking. Having passed at 5:77, Claudio Stecchi. Athletes still in the competition. There's been a lot of passing actually, so this pole vault actually has still got quite a bit of distance in it in terms of athletes who've still got attempts left. The likes of Stecchi and Lisek and Vloon and Broders and Obiena are still passing. Becomes a bit of a chess match now, doesn't it, in terms of taking the victory and having to pass or having to clear a higher height to get the win, not wasting attempts at earlier heights. Piotr Lisek, though, will be the next to go, having passed. Coppola is the only athlete so far clear at 5 metres 82.
Militiadis powiedział, że tak, tutaj mu się dobrze skacze, to jest wspaniały obiekt, wspaniała publiczność i wykorzystał ten fakt, jest w formie.
So Lisek waiting his moment. National record holder of Poland. Became the 10th vaulter in history to clear 6 metres. He was the first Polish athlete to clear that magic barrier. His 6:02 remains the national record. First failure for Piotr Lisek. In fact, it's first failure on that particular graphic. He did actually have a failure at his opening height of 5 metres 52 as well. Here's your lineup for that women's 60 metres. All eyes, certainly for the locals, will be with favourite Iva Svoboda in the centre lanes, with Polish athletes also flanking her in lanes 1 and 8 as well. In the heats earlier on, there was a very close contest between Iva Svoboda and Kayla White, who actually dead heated in their qualifying heat. Let's meet the athletes. First of all, Martina Kotwila of Poland, part of the European silver medal winning relay team for Poland last summer. Maria Perez of Spain, World Championship finalist outdoors. Kayla White of the USA, as I mentioned earlier on, got a great start in her heat, Kayla White. She actually made Svoboda's start look average, and we know how fast Svoboda starts. Here she is, one of those athletes ducking below that magic 7-second mark. Daryl Nita looked pretty good earlier on in qualifying as well. Great Britain athlete who ran very well. She's currently in the top 10 on the list for this year. The world indoor champion from Belgrade is Majinga Kambunji. Another one of those with a 6 at the start of her personal best. Geraldine Frey of Switzerland, another world finalist. She's been running consistently in the 720s. And then we see Kristina Simanouskaya now competing for Poland, formerly of Belarus. As the athletes take their spots, Jenny, if we get a repeat of the heat earlier between Svoboda and Kayla White, this could be close.
It could be close. We saw a really close race in the women's hurdles, didn't we? I'm just looking down, actually. I think Rita Hurst got a national record for Finland, so if this lives up to the hype, like that women's 60-metre hurdles did, we're in for a real cracker.
The Polish crowd in Arena Torun in the ORLEN Copernicus Cup have come to see Iva Svoboda do her thing. White inside her, Nita outside her. the world champion Kambundji in 6. The women's 60 metres final. Again, White got a terrific start, just stumbled ever so slightly, I think, and Svoboda starting to come through, and Kambundji down the outside. It's going to be Kambundji, and the world indoor champion takes the victory. Svoboda and Nita behind, but Mujinga Kambundji, a terrific second half to the race there particularly, and the gold medalist from Belgrade last spring shows that she is in the mix again.
Well, Chris, you called it. Kayla White had a terrific start, didn't she? But then she stumbled. It was a big stumble, wasn't it? She went from getting out first to maybe being third or fourth after 5 metres. But Kambundji, she never starts that quickly during her indoor campaign. And when she finished third in Karlsruhe, I actually thought, you know what? This is good. She's going to improve every single week now, all the way to those European Indoor Championships. And 7.06, she's took quite a margin off that indoor season's best.
Well, Kambundji, of course, has medal winning form over 200 metres, European champion over 200 metres, and we remember that race in Belgrade went from the very outside lane. She came charging through to take it. She was outside all of the big hitters again this time, but again in 60 metres, Jenny, that is a considerable winning margin. Yeah,
it was. Look how relaxed her face is as well. She really knows what she's doing, and I'm really impressed with her. Kambundji was once known as a 200-metre specialist. She was the fastest in the world last year, both at the championships and in the world on times and performances over 60 metres. Just really rounded into great shape once again, and that's mutual respect by all those women. Great to see.
Yeah, I'd love to just get a different angle of seeing that start again for White, because she was as well away there as she was in the blocks in the heat earlier on when she outstarted Svoboda, but just lost the momentum, didn't she, in the stride or two after that start. But Kambundji taking a good victory over Svoboda from White and Daryl Nita. Here's a replay, Jenny. See if you see it now. Just one from the right there. Literally almost the first stride, wasn't it? The White in the pink. But Kambundji here really, the second half of that race. And moving away, she's won it by half a metre.
Yeah, you said that, Chris. You don't really see big margins of victory, especially at this level. But just that last momentum, that last, 15 metres or so, she's moving away from everybody else. All the rest of the competitors are really searching for that line and driving. But Kambundji's still moving away as the line comes.
I suppose you'd say in major championship finals you might get a couple, the medalists might be a bit further than the rest, but in what on paper looked a pretty even contest by that. It's 500ths of a second, which on paper doesn't look a lot, but actually the visual winning margin there. 7.06 for Kambundji, 7.11 for Svoboda, and 7.13 for White and for Nita. This is the long jump. Michael Masso of Cuba. And his best performance, 7 metres 84, came in the opening round for the Cuban athlete. Tobias Montler of Sweden, his only legal marks came in rounds 2 and 6, and they were both 8 metres and 17. So some solid jumping when he did manage to get his foot behind the board. Miltiades Tentoglou, the Olympic champion, round 2, already an 8-metre jump on his card. All goes well over 8 metres, Tentoglou. Looks pretty happy with that one. The world leading mark stands at 8 metres 21. That's surely going to threaten it from Tentoglou. Look, bang on the board. Doesn't get much better than that. What kind of statement are we seeing in the numbers column here from Miltiades Tentoglou? 8 metres 40. What a performance in just the second round. Confirmation there of that men's long jump result. Marquis Dendy, just that one jump before retiring. Stecky in the pole vault. So we're flip-flopping around here from field events, keeping you bang up to date with what's been happening. That's the end of the competition, unfortunately, for Claudio Stecky, who started very well. But unfortunately for him, not able to get over 5 meters 82, which would have been a new indoor personal best and would have equalled his outright personal best outdoors. So Piotr Lisek, 3-time world medalist outdoors, has pretty much had the Polish crowd eating out of the palm of his hands for most of this event so far. The bar now for Lisek is at 582. There are 3 athletes who are clear. Obiena has passed. This pole vault has still got some way to go. But this for Lisek is his 3rd and final attempt to join the 4 athletes still in the competition. So the Polish interest in the pole vault ends with Lisek's failure. His clearance of 5 meters 72 has him finishing in 6th position. Well, Jenny, we've got just a few minutes left of our live broadcast here, but with 4 athletes still in the pole vault, this one's going to run on into the evening. In Torun, still in the competition, Kopelar, Bruders, Vloon have all cleared 582, and Obiena has passed through to the next bar height of 587. So 4 athletes still contesting this men's pole vault.
It's competitive, isn't it? And that's why. And we've had a lot of vaults so far, and like you said, Chris, it's all to do with strategy. We've had a lot of people passing attempts, and that's why we're still at this stage where we've got 4 men in. But looking down the scorecard, we've got personal best, equal season's best, and season's best all the way down the scorecard. In fact, out of the 11 starters, we've got six men who's at least got a personal best or a season's best. And it just really shows we're a couple of weeks into the elite end of the indoor season now, and people are starting to find the feet.
And find their airtime as well here as the pole vaulters get ready for the bar, just being remeasured and recalibrated at 5 meters 87. Rutger Kopelar will be the first to go, and he's into outright personal best territory here. In fact, he's already set himself a new lifetime best in clearing 5 meters 82 as Rutger Kopelar. So this is going well beyond what he's ever produced before, indoors or out. First athlete then to take on 5 meters 87. Ooh, what a bad attempt.
It wasn't at all. You just saw that he went over to the right-hand side there. And it'd be interesting to see whether he can go back and look at that footage. You see a lot of athletes these days going straight over to the coach. But as you said, you know, already got that 582 to his name.
Menno Vloon, the second of the Dutch athletes still involved in the competition, has passed through to 592 rather. Again, he knows on countback that he would have to clear a higher bar than Rutger Kopelar to take the victory. Ben Bruders, though, hasn't chosen to pass. He's going to take on 587. And again, the reason for that is this would be an outright personal best for him indoors or out. It would also be a Belgian record. Again, an attempt that shows a bit of promise, not the worst attempt you'll see, and that is Ben Bruders. That's a little bit of a shake of the head. His best so far, his Belgian record outdoors, stands at 585. 580 he's produced indoors, but for an outright Belgian record, 587.
Proszę Państwa, ten sympatyczny zawodnik od lat przyjeżdża na meetingi do naszego regionu, do Bydgoszczy, na Memoriał Chyliński, do Torunia, na Kopernikusa. Tutaj zbierał tyczkarskie szlify i między innymi w tej rywalizacji z naszymi zawodnikami doszedł do...
Ernest John Obiena of the Philippines. This is only, looking at my computer in front of me here, Jenny, his third vault of the competition. There you go, a clearance at 562, a clearance at 577. Here he goes at 587. So we've been saving himself. We mentioned he's had a very busy few weeks around Europe, Italy, Germany, France, Sweden, Poland, and now Poland again. He's been on a full European tour as Ernest Obiena. And in his last meeting in Lutz, he did actually try an attempt at the Asian record of 5 meters 92.
Well, it's clear that he's just here to look at the heights this evening. And it's nice the way the scorecard is set up, 582, 587. And it passes through that 592 to give him a chance to do that, of course. Meet record is 6 meters 17. Mondo Duplantis when he took the victory here 3 years ago. So no meet record, you would think, on the cards, but certainly a chance of a personal best and a national record if he can first of all clear the 87 before he goes on to that 92. Like you say, Chris, the men who have attacked this bar so far, there's some promising signs. No one looks like they've absolutely, you know, knocked it off and got nowhere near it.
And maybe we're seeing the benefit of some sparing, I guess, sprinkling of attempts and passing here and there, passing almost at alternate heights, conserving a bit of energy. Rutger Kuppelaar again then. Not as good as the first one. So he'll have one more try, Kuppelaar. He is the event leader at the moment. If nobody clears this, Kuppelaar would take the victory with his first time clearance at 582 on countback. The familiar figure of Greg Duplantis, father and coach, of course, of Mondo, former top-level competitor himself, doing the coaching for Rutger Kuppelaar. We are due to see Mondo himself in further legs of the World Indoor Tour Gold. Ben Broedersen of Belgium for a Belgian record outright.
Well, what a moment for Ben Broeders. Just some last-minute rituals that he's going through. The music is still pumping in Arena Torun. Here we go then. Ben Broeders for a national record. Oh, we both had the same reaction, Chris. We got excited then.
Well, if his first one was close, that one was closer, I think, and it's enough to draw a nod from a family that know a little bit about vaulting.
Yeah, that's a good sign, isn't it? When you get the nod and the, you know, that nod to say, oh, you know what, he was close.
Successful times for Ben Broeders, who is the partner of Femke Bol. Of course, set at World Indoor 500 meters best across in the US. So we're on to a second attempt for Ernest Obiena coming up shortly. Menno Vloon still in the competition, but has passed through to the next height. He's currently in third position. So here goes Ernest Obiena, the Asian record holder outdoors, with that 5.94 he set in taking the bronze medal behind Mondo Duplantis in Eugene, Oregon. He equaled his national indoor record in the Mondo Classic in Uppsala a few days ago of 5.91. Yes! Obiena's fine form continues. 5 meters 87 for the Philippines athlete. And that puts him into the lead.
Well, the strategy worked, didn't it? That was a good clearance. Well, when you have been in that shape, around about those 590 bars. Look at that, what a good card so far. Not took many jumps whatsoever. And if you can get this 592, it will be a lifetime best. He has done 594 outdoors. He's the Asian record holder.
It looks like he's been building as well when you look at his competition record this year. 565, he opened up with 577, 582, 591. So he got higher and higher in his first 4 competitions. 577 in Lodz a few days ago. As we said, he did have an attempt at that Asian record of 592. So Rutger Kopelar has already got himself a personal best. He's just seen himself topple off the head of the leaderboard, but third attempt at 587 for the Dutchman. So didn't get closer than his first one, but an excellent series from Rutger Kopelar. A little bit of a tumble as well, and he goes away with an outright personal best of 5 meters 82. The best pole vaulting night of Rutger Kopelar's career.
I love the gymnastic ability of them all at the end. Can you imagine any track athletes being able to do that when you're absolutely shattered at the end of a competition?
I think it should be a prerequisite, actually. You don't get the medal unless you do a full tumble. So here's Broders again then. Of the 4 athletes remaining, one's gone clear. One's just failed for a 3rd time. Vloon has passed. Which of those options is Broders going to take? It won't be the pass. Oh. So close to a Belgian record for Ben Broders. He goes away though also with a 5 meters 82 indoor lifetime best.
And the 2023 World Indoor list is being revised almost with every jump at the moment.
There's a few athletes shifting their way up it. Duplantis with his 6:10 that he cleared in the Mondo Classic last week. He's well clear of the 2nd place athlete on that list, one of whom is Obiena, who is going to try and lift that mark even further, 591. Casey Lightfoot, who actually had to withdraw from a meeting a few days ago as well. I think we saw him in Karlsruhe, didn't we, have 1 or 2 injury issues, and he had to unfortunately retire from a meeting a few days ago. But 592 will be the next bar, and there are only 2 athletes remaining. Ernest Obiena of Philippines and Menno Vloon, who passed at the previous height. So Vloon's been sitting and watching while the others had a go at 587. Vloon at 592. He's a 596 vaulter back from February 2021. A significantly better indoor vault than out. 596 indoors, 588 outdoors. This year he's mainly been in the 560s, so this is asking plenty. Third time clearance at 582, got him to this place. He's in 4th position in the standings at the moment. And he's the only man who can deny Ernest Obiena the victory. What to say about that, really, apart from that that's a foul or a fail. So Vloon will have 2 more attempts. 5.92 for Obiena. And this would be an Asian record. Indoors. That doesn't look so good for Obiena, who has got time to go back if he needs to. Didn't vault the last time like a man who was carrying some sort of issue. So we said he's been a little bit conservative in terms of the number of attempts he's taken. Just 4 attempts at bars so far. And not a time, I don't think, to be taking too many risks at this stage of a World Championship year. Doesn't look in a massive hurry to try and beat that 20-odd second jump clock. Oh, he's going to go. I thought he was going to put the pole back, but he is going to have a go. So, the yellow flag came out there halfway down the runway as well to signify that his clock was running out.
It's so hard when you're under pressure from the clock like that, isn't it? You try and get everything together before you go down that runway, and when you're attacking a personal best, everything's got to feel right.
So this pole vault competition running over the scheduled slot. Lots of passes, as we say. It has been a big field, to be honest, though. They have had 11 athletes in the pole vault. And again, often when you are, I guess, sometimes you'll have 11 in the field, Jenny, and 4 or 5 of them will be maybe in a slightly different class bracket. But actually here we've got 11 competitors, all who are very capable. And as such, lots of them have stayed in for a long time.
Absolutely. I think the meet director could never have thought to schedule the pole vault for as long as this, but we're not complaining, and hopefully lots of people have stayed in the arena to watch. This is a right duel when you start getting a bar in excess of 5.90 meters. And the same sort of thing for balloon. They know what's at stake for this jump the next 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, you see this quite a bit outdoors, don't you, where there's a little gust of wind or something and the ribbon will start moving and they're not quite happy with the conditions. You don't get wind indoors unless there's some aircon somewhere and a door open. Just getting focused. Menno Vloon, second attempt at 5.92 meters. Nobody's just quite got it, have they? We're seeing run-throughs and aborts and things here. And these are big heights, 5.92. This is considerable stuff here for these guys.
It is indeed. There's only Mondo Duplantis who's cleared this year, so he's just having a little bit of a word with the officials. Yeah, he's just saying, that's it, my night's over. Lack of energy probably, and let's save it for the next competition.
So Menno Vloon calls it a halt. He'll finish in 4th position with his clearance at 5.82 meters. Obiena has won the competition with his clearance at 5.87 as the only man to go clear of that. So is he going to carry on? It's hard to know, to be honest with you. Just looked like he was, a moment ago, Obiena sort of holding his hip or something similar to that, or pointing to his hip. Looks like he's going for something. He's having a chat with the officials. Something to do with 5. If
Always
in doubt-
writing it down.
If in doubt, just write it yourself. So again, until we start to see the numbers come up, it's not always obvious exactly why athletes are going for certain numbers. Some of the other athletes watching on from the stands, Emmanuel Karalis among them.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. There's a lot of respect between those pole vault athletes. And has the bar gone up?
5.95 it says on that scoreboard there. Well, looking at the, just having a quick look down the list of statistics here, Jenny. We don't have every statistic available to us in the time that we've got before he jumps this, but his national record, or Asian record, is 5 meters 95. So this would be an outright Asian record. That's what he's going for.
Ah, it all makes sense.
It does when you can find the right bit of information in front of you. So an outright Asian record. The Asian record stands at 5 meters 94, which is from the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon last year.
And it's his own.
It is his own.
It's his own. Yeah, so he's trying to beat his own. Okay.
Absolutely. It does all make sense now. I feel slightly sad that because the pole vault was overrun, as you can see in the background, the arena Torun seats are a little bit more empty than they should be for a continental record attempt. But Obiena, who would have 2 attempts available, just 1 attempt available, having passed his previous 2 attempts at 5.92. So he had 1 failure at 5.92, then has put the bar up. So he would only have 2 attempts available here. So he's only got 5 vaults in his legs. 3 of them are clearances, 2 of them are failures. Ernest John Obiena of the Philippines, the world bronze medalist in Arena Torun, the World Indoor Tour Gold, attempting a new outright Asian record of 5 meters 95. We haven't even got as far as planting the pole on the last 3 attempts, so I'm surprised somebody from the stand is not sort of urging a bit of discretion or a bit of care here, but...
But at least they get longer now, of course.
Yeah, that jump clock, when you are the solitary competitor remaining, the jump clock has additional time on it. His fellow competitors are still engrossed anyway. Just the way he's moving around the arena, it doesn't smack of the guy who's in full tilt to try and take this on. But what do we know? We just sat here with microphones. This is why we're not professional pole vaulters. I nearly said professional athletes, then I remembered you used to be one. Jenny Meadows alongside myself, Chris Temple, been with you for the last couple of hours here. Jenny will be alongside another esteemed distance runner, Hannah England, for commentary with you from the Milrose Games in New York, which is on Saturday late afternoon local time in the US. Check your local listings and your local broadcasters for the timings of that one. And then next Wednesday, it's from Louvain in France, Meet de Haute-Part de Calais, which again is always one that produces fast times. Still some good numbers in the home straight there, that's good to see for this pole vault. So Obiena cajoling the crowd for this Asian record attempt at 5 meters 95. Well, this time he went for it, as far as planting the pole anyway. So he would have one more attempt available if he chooses to take it. So he's going to take it, Jenny. He hasn't got to be anywhere. They've got the arena, they've got the competitive environment, they've got the pressure of everybody watching, but a live broadcast. Test yourself, as long as it doesn't cost you anything.
Why not? Absolutely. Well, I think sometimes when you know you've just got one vault left, you can just relax a little bit. Already wrapped up the competition. This is just all about Obiena and his personal achievements.
Just looking at his record, it was a notable major senior championship success for him last year, wasn't it? It was that third place in the World Championships in Oregon. He placed 11th in Tokyo in the Olympics, on home Asian soil, if you like. But last year, setting those national records both indoors and out, tying the national record indoors already this year of 5:91. But now with that jump clock solely waiting for him, with the competition already in the bag ahead of Rutger Koppeler and Ben Bruders. We've seen some great competition elsewhere. We've seen Keely Hodgkinson open up with a 1:57 in the 800 metres, just outside her own British record time. We saw Gudaf Sige unfortunately just fall short in the women's mile world record attempt. We saw perhaps a surprise victory for Reni Hailu in the women's 3,000 metres as well, stepping up in distance. And Mujinga Kambunji, the world indoor champion over 60 metres as well, taking the scalps of the likes of Eva Swoboda, Kayla White and Daryl Nita to win the women's 60 metres. Very good men's 60-metre hurdles as well. Daniel Roberts just edging out the informed Cuban Roger Iribane. Hamish Kerr winning the high jump. Long jump, Miltiades Tentoglu, 8 metres 40. Early season, his second round jump enough to see off his rival Tobias Montler. And even between vaults, there's time for the Duplantis family to pose for some photos.
That's when you know you've made it. When the parents, the coaches are getting asked for photos.
And I imagine anybody left in the arena at the moment probably does have a passing interest in the pole vault, which would make the Duplantis family of big interest, of course. So final attempt then for Obiena at 5 metres 95. And again, I know we have new fans all the time, so sometimes the technicals of athletics don't explain themselves very well, but because he took one attempt at the previous height, you're only allowed 3 consecutive failures maximum, so he only gets 2 attempts at this height. This is the last one. Ernest John Obiena, Philippines, 5 metres 95 for a new outright Asian pole vault record. So didn't in the end get as far as actually taking on the bar, Ernest John Obiena. Credit to him for trying and for thinking it was within him today. He takes the win in the competition though with his clearance at 5 metres 87. Obiena, the victory in Torun. Well, we've overrun, Jenny, by about 25 minutes with that competition, but I hope you've enjoyed the evening wherever you've been watching around the world Indoor Tour Gold. Some great performances. We're back on Saturday, the Millrose Games from New York. But from all of us, myself, Chris Temple and Jenny Meadows, thanks for watching and goodbye.
Piękne skoki. Dzisiaj bez pchania nie było konkurencji pchnięcia kulą. Rzadko się zdarza podczas Copernicusa, ale mieliśmy za to dzisiaj rzadki konkurs skoków karnych, najlepszy rezultat na świecie fenomenalnego Greka.